Hello, it's Sunday, 1 p.m. already. I'm getting ready to go to school. I spent all of yesterday studying at home, and I don't usually focus the best at home because there's so many distractions. So I like going to school in the big lecture hall when there's literally nothing but desks, and so nothing to distract me, and I can usually get a lot done there. Last year, if you saw my videos, beginning of the year, majority of the days I spent at home studying, and then I started going to school, and I realized that I study a lot better at school. So by the end of the year, I was pretty much always at school morning to evening. So that huge to-do list that I had yesterday, last week, I'm gonna continue trying to get all that done. And yeah, hopefully by the time I come back home, it's gonna be all crossed off. Also, another big thing I realized last year is it gets really lonely sitting here by yourself for 10 hours studying all alone. So I like going to school where all my friends are and I get to be around people, and I'm still studying, but at least I'm studying in company. And so I felt a lot better when I was studying around people, so that's another big thing. Thought I only had about 13 illness scripts left to study until someone told me that I missed some, and now somehow missed all of these and the cranial nerves, and these were all this week's as well. Granted, a lot of these are review because this was like the brachial plexus injuries, but I somehow went from having to do 13 illness scripts to now having like 40 total. Finally done for the day. It's 2:30 in the morning, and I did this to myself, so I'm not gonna complain. This is my fault that it's 2:30, but class tomorrow starts at 10 a.m. so I will get somewhat enough sleep. I don't know how many illness scripts I finished today. I lost count, but I did some of that. I also finished all my Anki cards, so proud of the work that I did today. These are the ones that I didn't finish from this last week. There's 46. I just had to recount because that sounded like way too big of a number, but no, there's actually 46 still from last week that I have to hit on. These, the trauma ones, are hopefully gonna go fast because that's review. This sucks though because this is spillover and there's gonna be more illness scripts that are new for this upcoming week. I think the time has officially come for me to panic with all the information that I have to learn. After today, after all the extra stuff that we learned today, I feel like I am now behind on the old stuff and have all this new stuff to learn, so panic is really starting to set in. And our first neuro exam is on Monday, and I really don't want to fail the first exam of second year. So I'm going to shower and take like a reset, and then I'm going to sit down and come up with a plan of things to review and to really focus on for today. I don't know, go from there one thing at a time. I also asked my TA which things I should focus on, and she kind of guided me a little bit, so I feel like I just need to lay out a plan to see what I have to do and then just go one thing at a time, and yeah, hopefully I accomplished a lot today. I really need it. I've never used this, never really had to use this up until this point. This is new in my book. I'm just borrowing this from Pekka. But I found this page, which is really helpful because it has this picture. We're currently learning about spinal tracts, and there's 3 spinal tracts that we covered in the beginning, which is spinothalamic, dorsal, and corticospinal. These 2 are your sensory, this one's your motor, and then this is how the nerves travel through the spinal cord up to the brain, and based on this there are a bunch of lesions and pathologies and blah blah blah. And I couldn't find just a good picture like this, and we pretty much just draw them out in class following our TA's drawing. Basically, I can't make my drawings nice enough. It just ends up looking like a hot mess doodle that I then can't even comprehend. So I'm happy to find this. We have 2 more tracks that I have to copy down, but they're actually not in the USMLE book. I checked. So those I'm just gonna follow my doodles, but this is nice and laid out. So for right now, I'm gonna study this really quick. Then I'm going to watch a video on the spinothalamic tracts from physio, and then I want to do the Anki cards that come with it. I think there's like 60 cards. and that's just my plan. Hopefully this will take me all less than an hour. My first year on the DRG, and really? I thought if it was E, then she would have lost like more, like she'd have more weakness.
No, that's the thing with peripheral nerves, is because they only innervate either one or a very small group of muscles, and sometimes those like muscles of another group, like we were talking about with the brachialis.
I'm at 352 Anki card reviews for the day. If you guys don't know, this is the Anki leaderboard, just a fun way to like compete with your friends to see who can do more Anki cards, stuff like that. Just a fun way to get through the pain. So I am going to do these 60 cards that I unsuspended from the physio video on the spinal cord tracts. These are my spinal tract doodles that I made in class that I'm now studying off of. So I'm still trying to fully grasp this concept, and that's why I'm like drawing it out. So Brown Séquard is a really cool syndrome which you get from a spinal hemisection. So all of this here is gone. And it's cool because you get all these different symptoms because there's so many different tracts running through here. So you have like your pain and temperature will be gone, but on the other side of your body from where the lesion is, versus vibration, proprioception, and touch discrimination would be gone on the same side, and you get certain changes but only at the spinal level where the lesion is. So it's so cool how all of this just comes from one lesion but presents so differently. And I say it's cool now, but you should see how frustrated I was seeing this in class and trying to make sense of it on the first day. I really didn't think it was cool then. So it's 1 a.m., but because I took a nap, I am super awake, so might as well keep going. I'm deciding between reviewing the old illness scripts, trying to learn and do the Anki for the new illness scripts, or do these modules that are recorded that are going over the medulla, specifically this one. It's like an hour long, and it'll basically help me understand the information that we went over today. So many options, so little time. But I think I'm going to do the medulla. I once again left class today feeling like I don't understand anything. We did lesions of the facial nerve and lesions of the ocular tract for people that like to draw neuroanatomies for you. And I am going to let that information marinate. Today we are doing farm drugs, or pain medication specifically, so I'm missing that lecture. It's 2 hours. I'm gonna just try to substitute that with sketchy videos, so I think I have like 6 sketchy videos to watch, and they're long, so I'm gonna eat and watch them. Some of them are like 20 minutes. Back from school feeling a little bit less overwhelmed than I did in the last couple of days. I think everything's slowly starting to sink in and click. We also started doing a lot more practice questions and cases, and that's been helping a lot because the more I get right, the more I realize that I do actually understand it and everything's not falling apart. I have so many Anki cards still left to do for tonight, and it's early, my time. It's only 11:30, so I'm gonna finish all these reviews tonight. Also, I just wanted to share a thought that I had, and I don't know if I'm actually gonna keep this in the video, if I, when I'm editing, realize that it's a stupid thought and I should just keep it to myself. But in the beginning, like when we got into medical school, or like first started medical school, people were talking about the white coat ceremony and like getting your white coat, and just how like to a lot of people it's that like aha moment where they're like, this is what I worked so hard for, this is what it means to be a doctor. Like, it's such a big symbol of being a doctor and like embarking on this journey, and that's why they have the whole ceremony and your family comes to watch, because it's like a big thing. But to me, I never felt that way, and like the whole time during the ceremony, it just didn't feel like that big aha moment of like I made it. It just kind of felt like I got a white coat. Like it just felt like I got a white jacket that I was now supposed to wear every time I had a patient encounter. But the weird thing is I feel like I finally got that moment, and it was when I started carrying this thing around. And this was the first time this year was when I actually felt like I needed to go in and access it. I think I already mentioned that before. But looking into this thing and actually using it, and I started carrying it with me to school and like carrying around like a textbook with me, I feel like, I don't know why, but this became my aha moment of like, wow, I know so much of this already, and I'm gonna learn so much more of this, and this is what I'm gonna use to become a doctor, and this is gonna take me there. Like, instead of the white coat, this was the thing that really got me to feel like, I don't know, that excitement. Yeah, I don't know if that made any sense, but I feel like there's a lot of pressure put onto the white coat ceremony and the white coat itself to be the symbol. And to me, it was just the USMLE Step 1 book, the first aid book. That's what finally made me feel like, yeah, I'm gonna be a doctor. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm gonna leave this, but maybe some of you can relate to it. I'm back from school, had a pretty productive day off today. Studied a decent amount, got a workout in, had an SGA meeting, did a lot of practice questions, which is so helpful now that we've learned all the information that we had to. Did a lot of practice questions, which have been so helpful in tying everything together. So not feeling too bad, and also have all of Friday plus the weekend where I don't have any school commitments to continue studying. Also, Anki has been helping so much. I have so many different decks of Anki cards that I'm doing right now, and I'm just bouncing back and forth from like brain plates and gross anatomy to illness scripts, and yeah, that's been helping a lot too. So yeah, nothing much really happened today, just a lot of studying as the days usually go, and clinical skills tomorrow, and then more studying. So yeah, see you tomorrow.
Right, we would have spastic because we've damaged the corticospinal system, which is right here.